Hello and welcome back to How My Garden Grows. It is April 7th here in Midwest area, and we're still expecting snow tomorrow, which is crazy. But in the meantime, I am transplanting some peppers and some tomatoes. The peppers are going in a slightly larger cup, and the tomatoes are going in a much bigger cup. I do them slightly different ways just because of the way they grow. They're both part of the nightshade family, but they have kind of different habits when it comes to that. So I've got these in little plastic cups here. This is a mix that I did on my own. It's got topsoil, compost, cow manure, peat moss, vermiculite, perlite, some blood meal, bone meal, and powdered eggshells. I just like to pretty much throw everything in there but the kitchen sink. So here we go. So we're gonna put some in the bottom first, just to give it a nice base and get it tamped down. And then I have, these are the Craig's Grandes. This is a jalapeno variety. It's supposed to get pretty decently big. I'm gonna turn it so I don't want to pull on that stem too much. Just give it a little wiggle. Oh, I don't know what happened there. There's a little bit of mold on that, I guess, on the inside, which is kind of weird. Anyway, well, we're just going to plant it in there and we'll see how this one goes. I may put a star or something on the cup to see if what I just found affects it at all. And if it doesn't, then no worries and we're all good. So I just take this and I'm just very gently holding the stem. I'm really not putting much pressure on it at all. And I just use my finger and poke it all around. If I find any big matter in here, I'm still not putting it in. Oops. It's a good thing to have in the garden because it, gives lots of space and air pockets and things like that for water to get in and air to get in. But when you're in little seedling pots, sometimes it can just damage the stem. So you just I just take the big stuff out for this. Like I said, when it's in the garden, I leave it because the more the merrier when it comes to organic stuff. So just do that. And these are going to be bottom watered, so I'm going to go ahead and get the dirt all the way to the top rim. I do plant them slightly deeper in the pot than what it was growing, but not as deep as I will with the tomatoes. With tomatoes, you want to plant them really deep because they will root all along this stem. The peppers won't do that, but I do plant it just a little bit deeper to get more stability. So I will do a second one here. The sticks out of my way. See, there's just all kinds of stuff in there. I got a 1 cubic yard of a compost soil mix from a local composting company, and it was $28, which was fantastic. I was so happy to see that and so happy to find that, and it's really local, and it's all in my area. I'm just giving these roots a little bit of a tease. I'm not really trying to break any off, just so that it did get a little bit of root bound in that pot. So I'm just wanting to make sure that they loosen up and go where they're supposed to go. So just give them a little tease. I was going to get a cubic yard worth of mulch, but I actually got lucky. My husband and I were going to an auction, and we walked by a house where they had just taken some trees down, and this guy had a big fat pile of mulch in his yard from when the tree cutting company ground his stump down, and it said free mulch. So woohoo! We packed the bed of our truck. I mean packed. When I opened the back door or gate, I'm not sure why you refer to that, but when I opened it, there was actually the impression of the mulch, or of the door in the mulch, because we packed it so tight. I have no idea how many. We probably got two cubic yards in there, really. And that is in a big pile, waiting to be used on the beds and the rows. And I'm really excited to save me $20 and a half-hour drive. So here's another one of those, and we're just going to stick this in here. Now I'm going to switch over really quick because I want to show you what I do for the tomatoes. I don't like to mark every little cup with a plastic thing like these because it's just, these like plastic knives I got, we actually already had used them at a family function and I washed them, so I'm already reusing them, but I don't like to have a separate little plastic plant label for every single plant because it just seems like a waste to me. So I tend to mark the cups themselves, and next year I'll just cross it out. It's hard to mark on black though, so I used nail polish. Why not? Okay, so I'm going to give this, I'm actually going to do this off camera because I need to dump. There we go. Okay, sorry. Alright, so I just scooped that bottom piece. Now I'm going to take this, give it a little squeeze at the bottom, gently get this lifted out. Okay, now like I said, with tomatoes, you want to plant them as deep as you can. So I'm going to pinch off these bottom leaves. They're just the seed leaves anyway, nobody cares about those. Okay, and that is not, I want that to be actually a little bit deeper, so let me get some of this out of here. Nope, still deeper. Although I think I'm just going to scoop up so I don't have to keep putting back in there. So making a little shallow little bowl in there to set it down in. Okay, that's about where I want it. I mean, I want these leaves, like, in fact, I'm not even going to pinch this one off right here. I mean, I want it right above the soil line where these leaves are starting. And it will root all along this stem. Sorry, my finger's in the way. It'll root all along this stem and create a stronger plant. So then we just come back in here, pack it around, get rid of the big sticks so we don't hurt the stem. Now for most of this, I'm handling the stem itself as little as possible. I prefer to grab it like right at the junction of the leaves in the stem because it's a little bit stronger spot to grab it. And a seedling can handle losing leaves, but most seedlings can't handle damage to the stem. Now that's not quite true with tomatoes because tomatoes are awful darn hardy. I've broken the stem off completely with those and still had to come up. But I still, as a general rule, try to be as gentle as possible when it comes to the stem. Just because I don't need any setbacks. I mean, it takes long enough to get these started from seed in the house and hardened off and everything else. Like, why would I want to set myself back? Anyway, one of the reasons, by the way, that I add crushed eggshells is because the calcium content keeps down blossom end rot, which is just where you have your tomatoes and they're going happily along and they're fruiting and budding and all of a sudden the end of it dies. And it looks like somebody stabbed it with a fork and made it rot from the end up. And it's a calcium deficiency that does that. So with the addition of the eggshell, that keeps that down. Now when I plant these in the garden, I will also add eggshell to the planting hole, which I plant really deep. I also add a banana peel and more blood and bone meal and regular organic fertilizer too, just as an added bonus. I put that in the planting hole before I put the tomato in. And then I put in a little layer of dirt and then put the tomato on top of that. Also planting really, really deep. So I end up digging a hole that's like, it's a good 18 inches at least when I actually go to plant my tomatoes out. And I've had really good luck doing it that way. In the past I've done, I've also put in 2 aspirin because there's compound in that makes the tomato plant think it's being attacked by insects and it will create a stronger, it'll protect itself by thickening its stem. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that this year. I may actually put in white willow bark, which has the same chemical in it. I think it's salicylic acid, I think. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, white willow bark has the same compound in it, and it's organic and natural and doesn't have all the extra additives that aspirin would have in there. So that is the tomato, and here are the peppers. It's going to be a while yet before I can harden these off because, like I said, it's supposed to snow again tomorrow. I have 100 strawberry plants that are waiting in my kitchen because I need to have at least a week of good weather before I can plant those out. Those are going in strawberry towers, which I will make a video of soon. I have 2 55-gallon drums that have holes drilled in the sides, and I'm going to go through that and how I did that. And there are other videos on YouTube describing it, so I'm not going to do like a whole process video, but I will show you what I did and any variation that I made. So, happy spring. I hope you all are having better weather than I am, and have a great day. Thanks. Bye.